ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति रुक्मश्लोके भवति निष्ठिति। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 20 verse 6. Following the principles of forest living and the footsteps of the great sages and munis, Prthu Maharaj accepted 5 kinds of heating processes during the summer season, exposed himself to torrents of rain in the rainy season, and in the winter stood in water up to his neck. He also used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. These are some of the austerities executed by jnanis and yogis who cannot accept the process of bhakti. They must undergo such severe types of austerity to become purified from material contamination. Panchatapaha refers to 5 kinds of heating process. One is enjoined to sit within a circle of fire with flames blazing from four sides and the sun blazing directly overhead. This is one kind of panchatapaha recommended for austerity. Similarly, in rainy season, one is enjoined to expose himself to torrents of rain. In winter, to sit in cold water up to the neck. As far as bedding is concerned, the ascetic should be content with simply lying on the floor. The purpose for undergoing such severe austerities is to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. So we can understand how easy the bhakti process is, and even in the bhakti process, even very little rules regulations we don't want to follow. Just imagine, see how gnanis and yogis, how tough their path is. So whatever has been given, mm, uh, sato vritte, upadeshamrata. Joka Goswami says sato vritte, following the footsteps of acharyas. Niyamagraha, follow rules and regulations. So all this we have to do so that we can make progress. Maharaja Prthu underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses. So we have to go through austerities, at least a little bit, to refrain from discharging his semen and to control the life air within his body. All this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna. We had no other purpose. The important thing here is that everything, all this we are doing, we have to remember that we are doing for the satisfaction of Krishna. Many devotees are very, they're unhappy about rules and regulations. But these rules and regulations we are following just for satisfaction of Krishna, not for any other reason. We're not crazy, just imagine going and doing austerities like what these gnanis and yogis have to do. We don't do all that. But whatever little austerities we do, it's all for the satisfaction of Krishna. So if we are unhappy with some austerity, for example, wearing traditional clothes. It's a big austerity, looks like somehow. Wearing dhoti and sari is a big austerity for devotees nowadays. But we should understand it is for the pleasure of Krishna. Mm, so we have to do. There's no other purpose actually. We are not doing any of this to, for any other purpose. Just simply satisfaction of Krishna and previous acharyas. Mm. In order to be recognized by Krishna, one should chant the holy name of the Lord continuously, 24 hours a day. If we thought 2 hours is enough, Prabhupada is making it clear. It has to be 24 hours a day. Unfortunate persons who cannot accept this formula prefer to execute some type of pseudo meditation without accepting the other process of austerity. Fact is, however, that one must accept either the severe method of austerity described above or take to the process of devotional service. If we do either of them, that's anyway a waste. Meaning, if we don't accept bhakti, nor do we take the process of gnana and yoga, then this sense gratification. The person who is in Krishna consciousness is most intelligent because in Kali Yuga it is not at all possible to undergo such severe austerities. We need only follow great personalities like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the holy names of Lord Krishna, which from the very beginning purify the heart and immediately liberate one. See the power of chanting. From the very beginning, meaning as soon as we start chanting, it starts purifying the heart, Nama. And immediately is staying. So if, I mean, we've been practicing Krishna conscious chanting for so many years, we still not come to the stage of liberation, which means that we are not chanting properly. That means we are chanting in Nama Aparada. If we chant in Nama Bhasa, then Nama Bhasa gives liberation. So that is why we have to put all our energies into chanting. Unfortunately, most devotees do this chanting like, you know, just like mechanical. So I was saying that what is the difference between, say, suppose say we chant today, we record it, and we play it tomorrow. We don't actually open our mouth and chant or try to hear. Suppose say we simply just record today's chanting and put it again, play it tomorrow also. Okay, my chanting is over. Because in fact, I mean, it's actually maybe better. We will be doing less aparadas every day. We're doing so many aparadas, right? Every day, chanting. We should not become mechanical because actually, if you chant in Nama Bhasa, we achieve liberation. Meaning, what do you mean by we achieve liberation? That means we should come to the platform of not being attached to body and things connected to this body. That is, Nama immediately liberates. We know in life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, he came to his guru and said, "What Nama, what name have you given? What mantra have you given? I've gone crazy." So ideally, we should all be going crazy, chanting Hare Krishna, but we are far. Yeah, I mean, we are another way. We have remained materially crazy because we are not chanting properly. So immediately it liberates. We should remember this. How nicely we should chant. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The real purpose of all yoga is to please Lord Krishna. Then this simple Bhakti Yoga system recommended for this age is sufficient. It is necessary, however, to engage constantly in the service of the Lord. Although Prthu Maharaj executed his austerities long before the appearance of Lord Krishna on this planet, his purpose was still to please Krishna. Again, so many devotees get confused with this statement. Constantly in the service of the Lord. Service of the Lord not doesn't mean that we just not pay attention to Shravanam Kirtanam and we engage in some physical service. Shravanam Kirtanam is mental service. Then there are other bodily services. And many fools who claim that worship of Krishna began only about 5,000 years ago. Okay, was not a fact. Okay. Krishna worship existed at the beginning of creation and has continued to exist throughout Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and now it is continuing. Stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna appears not only in this millennium of Brahma's life, but in every millennium. Therefore, worship of Krishna is conducted in all millenniums. Also of significance in this verse are the words Ari Radha Ishu Krishnam Acharat Tapa Uttamam. Maharaj Prthu underwent severe austerities for the express purpose of worshipping Krishna. Krishna is so kind, especially in this stage, that he appears in the transcendental vibration of his holy name. Aradito Yadi Haris Tapasa Tatatkim. Prabhupada used to quote this very frequently. Aradito Yadi Haris Tapasa Tatatkim. Naradito Yadi Haris Tapasa Tatatkim. Nantar Bahir Yadi Haris Tapasa Tatatkim. Nantar Yadi Bahir Bahir. Nantar Bahir Yadi Haris Tapasa Tatatkim. Narada Pancharatra. So Aradito Yadihari. If Krishna, if you are worshipping Krishna, then what is the need for any other austerity? And Naradito Yadihari Tapasata. If you are not going to worship Krishna, then what is the use of austerities again? So if you are worshipping this Krishna, there's no need of austerities. But we have to worship Krishna properly. For us to worship Krishna properly, then we have to take up some austerities like Ekadashi, getting up early in the morning, not eating, Nan Prasadam, etc. But if somebody is doing lot of tapasya, but he doesn't reach Krishna, then there's no value of that austerity. Simply waste. Amaya hi kevalam. Our life is short, so short that we must strictly adhere to the principles. Strictly again. Strictly adhere to the principles laid down by Vaishnava Acharyas and peacefully execute. So actually, if we follow the rules, then we peacefully execute. Mm. So in one lecture, my Guru Maharaj was saying that for if we actually strictly follow principles, what is the outcome? That one is prasannatma. One actually becomes happy. That means he's made progress, so he's happy. He's naturally happy in Krishna consciousness. Others who don't strictly follow rules, they are neither happy in Krishna consciousness nor are they happy materially. Trishanku, they are neither here nor there. But if we strictly follow, then no material happiness, complete spiritual happiness. There is no need to become despondent. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya. Anande bolo Hari, Braja Vrindavan, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Maja Imana. Transcendental blissful life, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, come worship the holy place of Vrindavan and always engage in the service of the Lord, of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Maja Imana. Krishna conscious movement is therefore very safe and easy. We have only to execute the order of the Lord and fully surrender to Him. Such a easy statement. We have only to do that. We have to only execute the order of the Lord and we have to fully surrender. You only to execute the order of the spiritual master, preach Krishna consciousness, follow in the path of the Vaishnavas. Spiritual master represents both Krishna and Vaishnavas. Therefore, by following the instructions of spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. That's all. This is the goal. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Ekeha kurunandana. Following instructions of spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. Everything is achieved. You don't have to do anything else. But for that, we have to hear from Guru, we have to know what his instructions are, and we should follow. We should try to follow. We should know the instructions. We should desire to follow. We should we should attempt to follow. We should prepare to follow. Meaning we might, like Prabhupada took many years of preparation. Then everything will be all right. We don't have to worry. All we have to do is just stick to the instructions of spiritual master and not speculative. I've seen many devotees are speculative about what their guru is saying. Many a times it's not at all what Guru has said, but like in ISKCON, there's a habit of saying Prabhupada said, like that. They will just keep saying my Guru Maharaj said, but actually they have not heard of it. They're just something concocted in their mind. That is of no use. That is of no use. That is cheating ourselves. So it's better we hear the instructions. So which means that we should be Shravanam, doing Shravanam of Guru every day. Uh, every day somebody is initiated, absolutely they should hear. Somebody is in the process of initiation, like I've said multiple times, you have to hear from different possible gurus, not just blindly, okay, everybody around me is disciple of this guru, so I also want to become disciple of this guru. No. If somebody comes to me saying that I want to get initiated, I ask them why. Why you want to get initiated from this guru? So, because we should, if we have not heard at all from guru, what instructions will we follow? Such simple things actually we are missing out today in practice in devotees are missing these very simple basic instructions. Somehow the mood is not to surrender. Mm, Actually, why? I don't know. Sometimes I see devotees are in a hurry to initiate other people, to get other people initiated. But why should we be in a hurry? Are we taking responsibility? If we are taking responsibility of those jivas by offering them to any guru for that matter, then we will realize, because then Those devotees whom we are hastily pushing to get initiated, they don't follow rules. If suppose say because of all those uh, results of all those offenses that they do, sins they do, if suppose they start coming to us, then we will realize saying that how important it is to actually recommend qualified devotees. Now because it's not coming to us, no, it's going to Guru because Guru has uh, uh, shown faith, saying that okay, if you recommend, I'm ready to initiate. So it means that he is taking all the sins. So we don't know, and we are happily just recommending, irrespective whether people are qualified or not. Now I've seen people getting initiated who don't even know Prabhupada Pranam Mantra. I was so shocked. I was literally shocked. So this is not the way. I mean, what are we trying to do? I don't know. Just basics. We're missing out on basics. Right? So instructions of spiritual masters. So they have to know. They have to know, which means they have to hear. And we have to chant Hare Krishna, at least in Nama Bhasa, if not Shuddha Nama. At least we should avoid all the offenses. And when we talk about offenses, one of the offenses where most people get caught. Aham and Mama, not giving up material attachment even after hearing so many things. So if we can do just these two properly, we will achieve perfection. We don't need to do anything else. This is all Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. This is the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. We should become fixed just to follow these two things and we will achieve perfection. Sometimes there are so many instructions, devotees also get confusing. Oh, what all should I do? I keep hearing so many things on a daily basis. Yeah, but this is the core. Actually, if you just do this, then everything else will fall in place. Like Prabhupada is saying, everything else will be all right. By just practicing severe austerities, Maharaja Prthu gradually became steadfast in spiritual life. This we have to anyway become. Like, if you are practicing bhakti yoga also, we should become steadfast, which is nishtha, and completely free of all desires for fruitive activities. This is the stage of nishtha, Brahma Bhuta, liberated state. He also practiced breathing exercises to control his mind and senses, and by such control, he became completely free from all desires for fruitive activity. This is again pranayama, hatha yoga. Um, but Prabhupada is again highlighting all this pranayama, yoga, everything that Prthu Maharaj did was for the sake of worshipping Krishna, not for anything else, not for some siddhi. Minds of those who are addicted to fruitive activity are always filled with unclean desires. Fruitive activities are symptomatic of our polluted desire to dominate material nature. So if we are still going behind fruitive activities, something, fruitive activities means what? Nowadays it's all vikarma only. As long as basically we can just understand polluted desires. As long as one continues to be subject to polluted desires, he has to accept one material body after another. So-called yoga is without knowledge of the real purpose of yoga. Practice it in order to keep the body fit. So many people who go to yoga classes, what is their idea? To keep the body fit, but that's not the idea of yoga. That's okay. I mean, body can be kept fit. But Prabhupada said for keeping the body fit, don't have to do any yoga and all. Just jump. He used to say, just jump in ecstasy, in kirtan, every day. Good enough yoga, enough exercise for the body. Mm. Just physical activities in Krishna consciousness, if you are engaged in every day, we don't really need any other. And of course, I mean, also eating properly, as much as is required, only not eating anything which is adding fat on our body. If we do that, then we don't need to really go for any kind of serious wasting precious early time, early morning time going for yoga class. Very waste of time. Thus they engage themselves in fruitive activities and thus they are bound by desire to accept another body. They are not aware that the ultimate goal of life is to upgrade. Okay. Prthu Maharaj's activities took place in Satyuga and in this age, this practice of yoga is misunderstood by fallen souls. Okay. Consequently, the Shastras enjoin kalau nasti nasti nasteva. Okay, so we have to just worship Krishna, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. As far as pranayama is concerned, look at this. Chanting of the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy are also considered pranayama. Hmm. So, what is the aim of pranayama? Is to actual aim is to strengthen the mind and senses in order to engage them in devotional service. In the present age, this determination can be very easily acquired simply by chanting the holy names. We don't have to do anything else. We don't have to worry about doing pranayama and this and that and all that for mind control. Simply, nicely chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, hear about Krishna, develop some attachment to Krishna. That's all. And all this will happen simply if we follow the rules of the instructions of the spiritual master. So simple. Thus, the best among human beings, Prthu Maharaj followed the path of spiritual advancement, which was advised by Sanat Kumara. That is to say, he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Maharaja Prthu, practicing the pranayama yoga system, engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, as advised by Sanat Kumara. Purusharshabha, the best among human beings, and Purusham refers to, okay, the conclusion is that the best man amongst all men engages in the service of the Supreme Person. Actually, one who is self-realized engages himself in the service of the Lord perpetually, both in this life and in the next. Indeed, for devotees, there is no difference between this life and the next. In this life, a neophyte devotee is trained to serve the Supreme Lord, and in the next life, he approaches that Supreme Person in Vaikuntha and renders the same devotional service. Even for the neophyte devotee, devotional service is considered Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Devotional service to the Lord is never considered a material activity. It is acting on the Brahma Bhuta platform. Since he is acting on the Brahma Bhuta platform, devotee is already liberated. This is true till we actually remain engaged, right? So we are doing some devotional service, we are liberated. As soon as we stop the devotional service, we come out, then we are back on the material platform. That we should avoid. So that is why Prabhupada says, 24 hours we should engage in service. Then we are on the Brahmabhuta platform, then we are liberated. He therefore has no need to practice any other type of yoga in order to approach the Brahmabhuta stage. If the devotee adheres strictly, again, strictly to the orders of the spiritual master, follow the rules and regulations, chants Hare Krishna mantra, it should be concluded that he is already at the Brahmabhuta stage. Because if you do this, actually we come to the liberated stage. Mam cha yo charena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitetan brahmabhoya kalpate. So if one is engaged in full devotional service, charini bhakti, unfailing, he transcends the modes. So this important thing is pratihata. Mm. So there should not be any obstacle. Mm. Without obstacle, all the time we should continue. We should do whatever our commitments are in devotional service. We should keep doing. We should keep increasing them steadily based on our social responsibilities, family responsibilities, etc. Again, when I talk about family responsibilities, social responsibilities, please understand it's always in connection with our varnashrama, ashrama, which ashrama we are in. Then he at once transcends the modes of material nature, comes to the level of Brahman, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Maharaja Pruthu thus engaged completely in devotional service, executing the rules and regulations strictly according to principles 24 hours daily. Thus his love and devotion unto the Supreme Lord Krishna developed and became unflinching and fixed. So if we simply follow the process, we will come to this stage. Um, when one who is not inspired by material desires and is not contaminated by the process of fruitive activity and empiric speculation, fully engages in favorable service to the Lord, his service is called Bhagavad Dharma or pure devotional service. Um, it is clear from this verse that Prthu Maharaj was never a worshipper of the impersonal Brahman. Okay. Maharaja Prithu's activities in devotional service enabled him to become fixed and steady in the discharge of devotional activities. His activities in devotional service make him fixed. So bhakti only gives us bhakti without having to take recourse to karma, jnana or yoga. So we don't have to do anything else. We have to just Engage in bhakti to become fixed in bhakti and to again increase in bhakti. Again, so it's bhakti only which gives bhakti. But see the important thing, love and devotion unto the Supreme Lord developed. So day by day, our love and devotion for Krishna has to go on increasing. If it is not more than yesterday, if today our love and devotion for Krishna is not more than yesterday, we should be seriously worried. When I say yesterday, today, it could be literally yesterday, today, it could be last week, this week, it could be last month, this month, it could be last year, this year, based on how serious we are. Continuously, we should be progressing. We should be becoming closer and closer to Krishna. By regularly discharging devotional service, Prthu Maharaj became transcendental in mind and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of the Lord. So this will happen for us also. This stage we will also reach. We'll constantly be able to think of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because our mind would have become transcendental. And now it is mental, material stuff is in the head. So that's called mental. We have to become transcendental. So when the mind is transcendental, its mind is not engaged. Its mind doesn't want to engage in any mundane thoughts. No mundane thinking, feeling, willing. Then one can constantly think of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because of this, he became completely detached and attained perfect knowledge, by which he could transcend all doubt. Thus, he was freed from the clutches of false ego and physical conception of life. Yeah. Okay, from the Narada Pancharatra, we understand that if one attains the stage of pure devotional service, he also attains all the opulences derived from fruitive activities, philosophical speculation, mystic yoga practice. Bilva Mangal Thakur says in Krishna Karnamrita, my dear Lord, if I have unflinching devotion to you, you become manifest before me personally. You become manifest before me personally. And when this happens, all the results of fruitive activity, empirical speculation, namely dharma, artha, kama, moksha, become like personal attendants and remain standing before me as if awaiting my order. So this is when Krishna actually manifests before us personally. We've achieved everything that can be achieved. I mean, everything else is also, they're all waiting. Okay, how can I serve you? Oh, I'm Kama, how can I serve you? I'm Moksha, how can I serve you? I'm Artha, how can I serve you? I'm Dharma, how can I serve you? The idea here is that the Gnanis by culture of Brahma Vidya struggle very hard to get out of the clutches of material nature, but a devotee, by dint of his advancement in devotional service, automatically becomes detached from his material body. We have to become detached from this material body. When this devotee's spiritual body begins to manifest, he actually enters into the activities in transcendental life. We should understand this also. Our spiritual body will begin to manifest. And then we actually enter into transcendental life. So now also our activities are transcendental just because bhakti is transcendental, just because we are offering the services through Guru who is transcendental, our activities are becoming transcendental. But actually, we are not on the transcendental platform. But as we practice in this way, slowly we will come to the transcendental platform when our spiritual body manifests and we can actually directly do spiritual services using spiritual body. At present, we have contacted material body, material mind, material intelligence. But when we become free from these conditions, our spiritual body, spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence become manifest. In that transcendental state, a devotee attains all the benefits of karma yoga. Although he never engages in any of this, automatically mystic powers appear in his service. A devotee does not want any kind of material opulence, but such opulence appears before him automatically. He does not have to endeavor for it. Because of this, of his regular discharge of devotional service, a devotee attains the transcendental stage of life. Since his mind is transcendently situated, he cannot think of anything but the lotus feet of the Lord, like I discussed. This is the meaning of the word samsmarana anupurtya. By constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, devotee immediately becomes situated in Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva refers to that platform which is above the modes of material nature, including the mode of goodness. In the material world, the mode of goodness is considered to be representative of the highest perfection. But one has to transcend this mode and come to the stage of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. So this pure goodness is not material mode of goodness, we should understand. It's pure goodness, just the name is pure goodness, that's all. Real goodness, we can say, is not material goodness, where the three qualities of material nature cannot act. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following example. If one has strong digestive power, after eating, he automatically lights a fire within his stomach to digest everything. Does not need to take medicine to aid his digestion. Similarly, the fire of devotional service is so strong that the devotee does not need to act separately to attain perfect knowledge or detachment from material attractions. Gnani may become detached from material attractions by prolonged discussions on the subjects and may in this way finally come to Brahmabhuta. But a devotee does not have to undergo so much trouble. By virtue of devotional service, he attains the Brahmabhuta. In other words, Gnanis and Yogis cannot become factually liberated unless they become elevated to the position of devotee. When he became completely free from the conception of bodily life, Maharaja Prthu realized Lord Krishna sitting in everyone's heart as the Paramatma because he was following Ashtanga Yoga. So he saw Paramatma, Krishna as Paramatma in the heart. Being thus able to get all instructions from him, he gave up all other practices of yoga and jnana. So now when he came to this stage of Paramatma realization, he gave up the process of yoga and jnana. So we can understand that this process of yoga and jnana was only to bring him to this stage. He was not even interested in the perfection of yoga and jnana, for he thoroughly realized that devotional service is the ultimate goal of life, and that unless yogis and jnanis become attracted to Krishna Katha, of course, this is all, their illusions coming concerning existence can never be dispelled. As long as one is too much absorbed in the bodily conception of life, he becomes interested in many different processes of self-realization. Of course, first is sense gratification. Then, if at all, if he wants some, is wants to take the transcendental path, then he becomes interested in various processes of self-realization, such as mystic yoga, speculation, gnana. However, when one understands that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Krishna, he realizes Krishna within everyone's heart and therefore helps everyone who is interested in Krishna consciousness. Hmm. He realizes Krishna within everyone's heart and therefore helps everyone who is interested in Krishna consciousness. This is what we have to do. Please note this. Actually, the perfection of life depends on one's inclination to hear about Krishna. Therefore, mentioned in this verse, Yavad Gadagraja Kathasu Ratim na Kuryat. Kathasu Ratim. Not simply I am bored, I am hearing, okay, every day I have to read half an hour. No. We have to develop Rati, attachment, interest. You should be eager to hear. We are now eager to sleep in the class. Yeah. Okay. Stop here. Any questions? Comments? Okay. Nothing. Close here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय वाचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय समवेत गौर भक्ति जय हरे कृष्ण